On both of these two buildings, we have a dry transfer that'll be included in the kit. And they're the two signs for the Graves building, which are on either side. And then there's the Edwin Graves building that goes on the secondary building. These go on really easy if you take your time. What you want to do is you want to cut them out. And I use the blue painter's tape to put it across the top, and then I'm going to tape it down so it doesn't move. Once I do that, I bought this tool, which is a real cool tool from Woodland Scenics. It's basically a Teflon rub-on piece, which allows me to rub. And once I've got this piece taped down at the top, I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way by rubbing it back and forth. And by leaving the tape on it, I can look to make sure it's completely come off and not relocate it. It keeps it registered the whole time. If it doesn't come off, I can go back and put a little more on. But if you use this tool and the tape, I think you'll come off with a nice clean sign when you're done. And a little bit of weathering, just be careful. I did put on the other one, I did put a finish over the top. I used the dull coat over the top of it, just a little bit, a misting, just to keep it from peeling or getting scraped off. The other one that we're going to do, I'm going to flip it around here. If you can wait just a second, I think I can get it around. Can you see it, Lynn? Is the Graves sign here, which is a stencil that we'll include. And basically what I did with the stencil is I figured out exactly, I made some small lines here on the bottom so I get it straight, and then basically I taped it all the way around. It's easier to do when it's flat, all the way around, and I stippled on the sign with a stipple brush and some darker gray. You can do light gray if you want the sign to be a little more faded. If you want it newer, you can use a darker color. It goes on straight, you can peel it right back off, and you'll come out with a sign with a little bit of weathering, a little bit of that. That's all you need to do on the signs. They're pretty well straightforward.
Well, you know, there's an issue sometimes with dry transfers. Sometimes they become really dry. If you haven't done the kit in a long time, if they've been sitting around, if you notice, we've taken the time to individually package every dry transfer with its own backing to help keep the moisture in. But I don't know if you've heard of this, Jack, but I've heard that on older transfers, and I've never tried this. Of course, you'll need an old light bulb, one that actually gives that some heat. Recommended is like a 15-watt light bulb that you can place the transfer in front of it before you apply it to help soften the paint, because dry transfers are paint, and once they dry, they're not going to transfer. Yeah. So the idea is to soften them up a little bit and give them a little bit more of a rubbery adhesion so you can transfer them onto your surface.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that. I think it does soften them up enough so they're not brittle again, and then it allows you to have them stick to the model. I think the older you get to, the more you're going to want to use some kind of a sealer on them also to keep them from becoming brittle.
Well, unfortunately, these are not replaceable. These are very expensive. We have to have them custom made, and it's a one-shot. So be careful when you put these on. Take it seriously. We always stand behind everything we do, but this is a product that is outsourced, and you may end up having to go with a paper sign or something if you mess this up, and we'd be happy to give you the artwork as on a piece of paper or as a file. But the originals on this are very, very limited, and that's one of the things about a limited run kit. Sometimes things are just etched in stone, and this may be etched in paint, but yeah, it is truly a very limited process.
Yeah, so I do recommend the tool from Woodland Scenics. It has a shovel. I don't know if you can see that's a shovel end on this end, which allows you to get into those clapboard pieces, and then a pointed end to get anything else. So and it doesn't tear, and it doesn't rip up your signs.
And put them on straight. You don't get a second chance.
No.
You can't slide these around.
Measure your bottom lines. On the front, it's not too bad because you have the clapboards you can go by, but on the back, you're in the middle. Measure. That's about it for the signs.